What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers could really use 3-and-D help out at the wing. A true starting three for the Los Angeles Lakers. Somebody, ideally, that could slot in multiple positions, 2, 3, maybe even the 4 on occasion, but really need that starting three. Guy that can defend multiple positions, defend 1 through 3, knock down the open shot. Ideally, somebody younger that can be kind of a long-term answer for the Lakers. You look at somebody like an Andrew Wiggins. Love to have Wiggins, but realistically speaking, he's somebody that would be more shorter term. He's somebody that you'd be looking at for this year, maybe next year, and then beyond that, you'd still probably have to find that. Now, maybe a Duthero becomes that, or maybe you get somebody at some point, right? Now, it's one of those things where at least get somebody for now. Lakers are trying to win a championship this year. I don't think that they're too far away. Got to get a couple key pieces. If you can land that guy, beautiful. You're off to the races. If it's just somebody that's temporary, then, again, you can hopefully develop a Duthero or, go and get that guy in free agency or whatever. But one guy in particular that I've talked about, want to see, many of you have mentioned, and I know many of you want to see. We got a nice look at him last night, and that was Herb Jones. Herb Jones is ideal. Now, you talk about guys 6'7", 6'8", slot in 2 through 4 for you, like I mentioned. Young, athletic, versatile. He's 27, so he fits kind of this timeline with him and Reeves and Luka and DeAndre Ayton and all of that. He's a guy that I do think has a realistic potential to be available. I think he's somebody that wouldn't be crazy far-fetched, especially with how poorly the Pelicans have been. You got to imagine at some point the Pelicans are going to kind of retool things, try to tear this down. They just fired their head coach in Willie Green, which kind of felt inevitable, right? We knew that this was coming. Lakers ended up being the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So now I imagine the next step is like, hey, we need to start to retool some things. We're not very good. Not probably going to be very good this year. And if you can get a guy like a Herb Jones, that could be somebody that could be really beneficial. Problem is, Lakers would probably have competition if he becomes available because he's a very good basketball player, as I mentioned. Guy that knows his role, plays his role well. I mean, we saw him play excellent against the Lakers. I thought he had a great kind of audition for the Lakers. He also, right now, is cheap enough for the Lakers to trade for, right? So he's a guy that can, come in. Lakers can realistically go make that move. And then they'd have him under contract for the next 3 seasons. So they'd have him under contract we'd have a player option in 2029, 2030 for $24.195 million. Where is he at that stage? He'd be 31. So where is he at that stage of his career? But you got to assume he probably opts in for that price, which is still a great price. I mean, he is a great going rate. You're talking $20 million in 2027, 2028, $22.5 million in 2028, 2029, and then $24 million in 2029, 2030. So good, friendly contract for the type of player that he is, the type of role that he can play. A guy that against the Lakers had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, had a couple steals. You saw the ball pressure, the defensive versatility that he could provide. Not just that, but imagine him slotted alongside Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James, and the quality of looks that he would get, the quality of just shots that he would get. He also wouldn't be asked to do as big of a role at times, right? Because again, Pelicans are regularly missing guys, and they don't have real playmakers. DeJounte Murray was supposed to be that, but he's in and out of the lineup and stuff like that. So, you look at a team like, the Pelicans, it's like, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, guys like that, which it's another guy I'd sell the farm for Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. Like, I would trade everything if we could get the not named Luka Doncic, right? But, like, if you could land Herb Jones, who I do think is the more realistic option possibility, I do think you'd have some competition. So, and the problem is Herb Jones wouldn't be able to force his way because again, he signed that extension. So, any team that trades for him would be like, hey, we got him for the next 4 years. So we're in good shape. We don't have to worry about him bailing out or anything like that. So, he couldn't, even if he wanted to, kind of nudge or force his way to a team like the Lakers, which would be great, right? If he could do that. But would the Lakers realistically be able to get that done this season is the question. What would be Herb Jones's going rate? I mean, obviously it's going to cost you a first. Okay, Lakers have a first. They don't have much beyond that. So what do you do? I mean, ideally, I wouldn't want to get rid of a guy like an Adu Thero, right? Because the idea would be like, now you have two of those guys, right? Like, let Adu Thero kind of evolve and emerge as that guy for the next few years. And then you could have Herb at one end and then Adu Thero at another end alongside, especially if you're going to keep Austin Reeves. So now you have, Luka, Austin Reeves, Herb Jones, Adu Thero, and then DeAndre Ayton. Now you got that athleticism. Now you got that defense. Now you got that switchability. Now you got all the things that you want to have success. Then you're just rounding out the bench and doing all that stuff, right? Like that would be kind of the idea. But even for now, if you could land a Herb Jones, you still have things like you'd have like Herb Jones, Adu Thero, Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt. You're really starting to put together those defensive units. I mean, you could even do something where you have like Luka with, Marcus Smart, Herb Jones, Jared Vanderbilt, and Adu Thero in some type of like small ball defensive switch everything. Because you got to think all these guys would have like, even Marcus Smart has like a 6'9" wingspan. You'd have all these guys like Herb Jones and Adu Thero, all these guys 7+ wingspan. So again, you'd have the athleticism, you'd have the defense, you'd have the versatility, you'd have the switchability. I'm not saying that you'd run those kind of units heavily, but just again gives you another piece. Clear cut starting level 3, clear cut starting level wing that can come in, play that role for you. He's a guy that again, you look at this season, 12 games played. Last season, he suffered and he only played 20 games, right? But luckily, he has a history of playing, right? Rookie season, 78 games played. Then he played 66, which, you want him closer to 70 games, but hey, it's over the 65 game threshold. Then he played 76 games. And then last year he had that outlier season where he only played 20. And it was one of those things where like everybody on the Pelicans were hurt. Like Pelicans, I mean, look, we've had former Pelican players go elsewhere and talk about like Dyson Daniels was like, dude, that place is cursed, right? Like, so, which that's another guy they never should have traded. But nonetheless, right, you're talking about having a guy in a Herb Jones who has a history outside of last year, which again, very well could have been the outlier. He's already almost played as many games. But he's a guy that, has a history of playing. Best ability is availability. That's the thing. You need a guy that you can count on to play at least, 70 games on average. Guys are obviously going to miss games. Lakers especially, we've seen this season at least, and I imagine that'll probably be the new norm, just being cautious and overly cautious on various players and stuff like that. So, again, as long as Herb is giving you around 70 games, I think the Lakers would be in good shape. He's the ideal kind of guy that could slot in next to LeBron, next to Luka, next to Austin Reeves, and DeAndre Ayton to kind of round out that starting five. LeBron James, when he comes back, starts getting his legs under him, starts getting in his position, in his spot. Now, all of a sudden, you have kind of that, again, that defensive versatility, that ability to just LeBron be able to defend and be that defensive anchor. We saw that last season. Adding a guy like a Herb Jones, DeAndre Ayton buying in defensively, you're in really good shape. But this season so far, 12 games played, 12 games started, 30.7 minutes per game. He's averaging 9 field goal attempts per game, which is the most of his career, by the way. Last season, he averaged 8.6. But again, he has to do a lot of self-creating, a lot of scoring, right? They've just had a lot of injuries, a lot of guys in and out. He's shooting 42.6% from the field on 9 attempts, on just under 5 attempts from three-point range. So he's shooting 4.7. So almost all of his attempts are coming from three-point range, right? He's shooting 39.3% on 4.7 attempts. He's a career 37% guy. And again, this is without guys like Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James. And the quality of looks that Herb Jones would be getting, I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the 40s. He had a season where he shot 42% on 3.6 attempts back in 2023, 2024. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets back to that. But again, 39.3% from three-point range, from two-point range. He's actually the lowest of his career, on 4.3 attempts. He's shooting 46.2% from two-point range. He is a career 5 attempt guy, so he has slightly fewer attempts. Again, I think a lot of that has to go. He has to do a lot more self-creation, a lot more kind of just, he has to do the work rather than he'd be playing alongside Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, be able to put him in those spots, moving without the basketball, being a slasher, a cutter, put him in various actions to where I think he'd have a lot more success, a lot more things at the rim, things like that, finishing, all of that, right? So not too worried there. EFG, and again, 46% isn't terrible, but EFG of 52.8% from the floor. Free throw line. He is struggling from the free throw line this season on 1.4 attempts. He's a career 2.1 guy. He's shooting 65% from the free throw line. He's a career 82% guy. So I imagine that picks back up. Again, not too worried about it. Rebounding, 4 rebounds a game, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals. He's a career 1.6 guy. Half a block. He's a career 0.7 guy, and 10.4 points per game. He's a career 10.2 guy. So again, exactly what this team needs. Athletic, versatile, defense, hit the open shot, right? Be a legit two-way guy for this team. It's what the Lakers need. They need legit two-way play, legit two-way help, and Herb Jones is one of those guys that can provide that for you. I mean, he's one of the more realistic, ideal options in my opinion. Obviously, again, Lakers would have some competition in that regard, but I don't think he's going to fetch such an insane return that it's like, there's no way Lakers are going to get that, right? So again, it's just putting the right package together. Maybe it's a direct trade, maybe it's a 3-team trade, whatever you got to do. Be creative, figure it out. Go get Herb Jones, because again, he's a guy that you wouldn't just have for this season, right? Guy you could have for multiple seasons. I mean, technically, you could trade for Herb Jones and still go get an Andrew Wiggins or something like that. But getting a little ahead of myself there. Again, he's a guy that I'd love to see the Lakers end up landing, and then just kind of give you that foundation piece. Right now, you really start carving out. You got Luka, you got Herb Jones, you got DeAndre Ayton, and then Austin Reeves. He continues to play well. If he continues to be that foundation piece, worst case, if you end up having to trade him, you're going to get a great return. And then, now you have, Luka, Herb Jones, plus whatever you get for that, DeAndre Ayton, and then piecing in the rest. And then you still have guys like Jake LaRavia, Dude Thero, right? Like, you'd be in really good spot. Bronny James has even been really good. So I like it. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.